thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my journey with you all. It's been a privilege and honor. As Fawzia mentioned, I'm a data strategy consultant at PwC UK, and I am I was born and brought up in Bangladesh, and I came to this country when I was 17 with my parents. So my dad was posted in this country for 3 years. At that time, I came in, and I joined a local school to do my A levels. Uh, Back in Bangladesh, I was in Bengali school, where I studied in Bangla. Although there was a subject called English, the way you learn any French or any other language in GCSEs. However, I never had the opportunity to study in English, or it was a kind of a like huge change as a 17-year-old girl coming to this country and settling into the new environment, completely different language, and picking up my education. I did my A levels in maths, further maths, and physics. It was ages ago, and Bengali as well. The reason I chose these subjects, I thought that it will be easier for me. These subjects will require less English or language. Although I always enjoyed maths, but that wasn't my favorite subject, and I hated physics, I must say. But I managed to do that. While I was doing my A levels, one of my maths teacher kind of influenced me or mentored me. He suggested that I should apply for maths for my university degree. And he studied at King's College, so he kind of inspired me to apply to King's, although I didn't know whether I'll get into the college or not. But at the end, I did. From the background I came from, because maths was considered as a good subject, but it wasn't considered that how you're going to apply it in your career. So it's a doctor, engineer, lawyer. That's something we were encouraged in the family to do that. So I took computer science with my maths, thinking that okay, there is some applicable knowledge in there. After my A level, I took a gap year. I had to take a gap year because my parents were going back after 3 years. I to be a home student, I needed to be here for 3 years, and my parents were like open enough for their daughter to stay in the UK to study, but they couldn't afford the international fees. So I took a gap year before I started my college. Although my parents were open and encouraging enough, they didn't want their daughter to stay on their own. So they found a groom for me. So my husband came from Bangladesh and he came to study here. They found him, and I got married at the first year of my undergraduate studies. And then in the final year, as you can see in the picture, the right hand side under family, that's my son, for my first son, my first child. He was born in the final year of my undergraduate degree. I don't know how I finished that, and I think in 10 minutes presentation, the struggle I went through, I won't be able to explain. When you don't have any family, you have to continue with your studies, and you have a child born. Like my son was born 10 days before my final exams. I managed to take that exam and passed, and that is a miracle to me. And I don't think it's going to happen now because I was young. I managed to do that. I was courageous enough to do that. Then after I was graduated, I again, like Fauzia, I started applying to many jobs, and I had lots of restriction. I needed a job that would pay the childcare of my son because we didn't have any family to look after my son, and also it has to be close enough to house because I couldn't leave my son to work far. So I kept applying. I don't know how many jobs I applied. It could be hundreds. Then I started to get interviews and got rejected again and again. And while I got rejection, I tried to learn what went wrong, how I can improve. Then I went got an interview for a job at Philips Electronics in their head office, uh, in their customer data role. However, when I went to the interview, they thought I could do better job, even better job. So they put me to another interview in planning and allocation, where I work with the business managers in the forecasting data, allocating data. So I got for a lower kind of job, then I managed to get a better one, and that's my proper first graduate job. So that would be like few months after I was graduated. Then my daughter was born 2 years after my son was born. I was in Philips Electronics. I really enjoyed the job. The team was like similar aged as mine. However, I already had two children and a family to look after. They didn't. So I wanted to have an environment where there will be understanding of what more flexibility and understanding of what I go through. And people said that public sector jobs are more flexible, and I thought that I would uh, go for those. So I started applying a lot of council job, civil service job. Again, I had that restriction with two children. I needed a job that will pay the nursery cost for two children. That's extortionately expensive, and give my like pocket money as well. So then I managed to get into a role in Surrey County Council as a performance officer, and in that council I stayed for 12 years, but with a slow growth. I changed four jobs. In the meantime, I was lucky enough to be sponsored to do my master's in public management from University of Birmingham. And I slowly, because I took it slowly as I was raising two children in the meantime, but I didn't stay in one role. Whenever every few years I tried to find slightly better opportunities and moved on. All my roles were in the data and analytics area. So when we, like 20 years ago, when I started job, we were doing reporting in Crystal Report, Business Object. I don't know how many of are interested in data area now. They have changed. Those are obsolete. I did coding in C++ and Java. We used SPSS and Access. Those are all gone. Now it's business object, and now it's Power BI and Tableau with Python and R. So things have changed, and throughout the time, as the new things came in, I had to learn those skills and changed as we go along. So in Surrey County Council, my last role was like, then I moved from more hands-on experience to more management and leadership. So I managed a small team in Children's Safeguarding Board. They were responsible for producing various data and statistics reporting for many partner organizations like police, school, council, education, and so on. And when both my children started secondary school, they started to go to school on their own. I thought I have a little bit of more flexibility so I can move farther away and I can take on more responsible role. Again, I started applying, lots of applications, lots of interviews. Then I ended up getting a job in NHS, which is London Ambulance Service, as their head of data quality. So I did that role for 4 years, and then I thought I needed a change now. So I have had like 16 years of experience in public sector in data and analytics area. So I started applying. This time it didn't take too long as I started to look for job. The opportunity in PwC came up and I thought, okay, it is a world renowned company and I would like to see what it is like there. So I joined as a senior manager in their chief data office, and my main responsibility is providing advisory support around data strategy, policy, data quality, framework, and so on. While as you can see, all this time, I tried to talk about my 20 years journey in 5, 6 minutes, but there has been a lot of barrier, particularly when you have in here, I don't have any family in the UK. Both my parents and my husband's parents and family are back home or in a different countries. It's raising children, raising family, as well as continuing job is not the easiest one. But during COVID time, also I started to work from home in London Ambulance Service. It has been really busy time because we manage 111 and 999 data set, and that's the very busy time. Still, I managed to get some free time because I wasn't commuting anymore. I was started to work from home, and during that time, I always loved reading and writing. I started writing, and during COVID, lot of people picked up reading. So I realized in some of the, because I write in my own language, Bangla. There are lots of literally forum, online forum where we can submit your writing, and I realized I caught like very unexpected readership of my writings, and sudden at some point one of the, like, quite a few big publishers from Bangladesh approached me whether I want to publish book or not, and then I started writing novel. So I published, so it started, I started in 2020 writing properly, and since then I published six, is it six novels in Bangla, and one of them was translated in English as well, which was published last year. And I always write about like immigrant journey in the UK as a, like the immigrants who are from, uh, I use my experience because in council I have worked in, although I worked in data and analytics, I worked in safeguarding, education, public health, social care sector. I got lots of experience and learned about what happens, particularly for immigrants in the UK. So I try to use my experience in my writing. And yeah, I continue to write while I still pursuing my career in PwC. It's been 2 years. I'm enjoying my role with the evolvement of data AI. Things are changing completely, and we are having to learn all the new skills and experience as we go on. So thinking about what I have learned, and I would also like to share two pictures in the right. One is in Bangladesh, where there's a, like, every year big book fair, where one of, that's my stall with all the people that worked in the stall with my book in hand. And another, the top one is, I'm very proud to say, in the PwC client lounge, where they displayed my book. Uh, and what I have learned through my journey, it's very similar to what Fauzia said. So it's the resilience and persistence. Sometimes we don't get to choose what we need to do. Things like our personal circumstances and everything that shape what we can do. We have to be persistent if you need to get somewhere. And also, you need to have basic skills and qualifications that you need to gain to do whatever job, which area, doesn't matter, you want to work in. And also embrace change, whether it's in a personal circumstances or also in work. Change is a constant thing. The more we want to embrace it. For example, when I started my role in data and analytics, there are completely different sort of coding experience we needed. Now, with the evolvement of AI, we are having to learn something completely different. So we have to embrace that change, and also follow the passion, whatever it's music, writing, spirituality, whatever it is. The passion is the one that will keep you going when things are not so easy. So that's all I can say. Thank you once again, Fauzia and Migrant Leader, for giving me the opportunity to speak here.
Thank you so much, Ameena.